day 606. The day rating is at 8. Had the race this morning. Started off on the bad foot. Alarm was supposed to go off at 5:30. There was no alarm. But thankfully I had the curtain kind of open about that much. And at some point, what? At 6:07, I woke up and looked almost in the same position. And I looked out the window. I was like, why is there a light outside? I should still be getting up when it's dark. And so I looked at my watch. It said 6:07. I was like, how is it 6:07 a.m.? Why didn't my alarm go off? And I double checked the alarm to make sure it was set. And I grabbed my phone and I tried to turn it on and it's off. And so it just killed the battery last night, I think, searching for service and trying to upload the video. So it was in a little bit of panic mode. I tried to get up real quick, use the restroom. The dog took the pup out for a 10-minute walk instead of the 30. And then showered, shaved, drank some water, brushed the teeth, and then got to the race. I had a half an hour, which was not terrible, but not great. So I got there, I threw on some warm-ups, and immediately started running. I was feeling my Achilles, so I was a little bit concerned, especially with the cooler weather. On the positive note, it wasn't. So one negative alarm didn't go off. Positive note, on the other side, it was 50 degrees instead of last year being 40 degrees. So that was a positive. Then I ran about a little, almost a mile, and then I came back. So I got in 1.6, 1.7 for the warm-up, and then took the warm-ups off, put on the racing shoes, jogged down the start line, did one stride, and one set of, what did I do? I did like high knees, or tail kicks, and an extra stretch kind of thing. So I did 2 or 3 somewhat fast drills, and then a stride, and they said there's 3 minutes left. So I just stayed and tried to keep my body moving. Kind of jumped on the toes a little bit to help warm up the calves and the foot. And then the gun went off 7:30 like it was supposed to. Excuse me, got out fairly hard. I think the first mile was 6:40 and 6:20. And then the third one was 7. But on that 7th one, it was just 2 big hills. And so I could hear people catching me on those hills. And I knew that's where it was going to be weak. And I knew I was going to struggle. Not that I couldn't do the hills, but I knew that I was probably going to slow down significantly more than someone who's been running hills. So I just said, just do what you can, focus ahead, and just keep trucking. So kept going at it. There was that moment I thought, okay, I can hear this person getting closer and closer. And they had a little cheering section, and I kept hearing them. So it's like I've seen these people before. There's not that many people cheering you on throughout the race, so when you hear people, you can tend to notice them. And going up this hill, and I could hear the guy breathing behind me. I think I heard him spit once or twice. And I could hear his footsteps. So like, okay, getting closer. And I kept looking over my shoulder when I could for a shadow. Couldn't see anything. So I keep chugging along. And I got to that hill. I could have sworn he was within a few feet of me, and like, all right, mentally I was saying, here's your chance. If you want to pass, you better go. I got to the top of the hill. I was starting to, I guess, the crown of the hill in racing terms, and I was like, okay, the hard part is over. So no one passed you up here, so bring it home. And so I got to the top of the hill and started to slowly get my stride going again, even though it still kind of hurt. I was in that race mentality that it's okay to have a little pain, push through. So I started to get my stride going. I got the downhill, and my stride, boom, instantly was going. And then I never hurt anyone from then on. So I'm assuming I got a lot of my distance on the downhill. And I came through at 37:11. And I think I got one of the miles in a 5. Is it 5:50? Somewhere in there. Yeah, maybe it's 5:50, 5:45, somewhere in there, which is fine. It's a tough course to get some good mile splits in and that elevation. But then we finished, I jogged around a little bit. My stomach started to get a little like, ugh. And so I jogged around, said, okay, I'm fine. Drank some water, and I'm going to go get my dad, go cheer on my dad. And then my older brother couldn't make it. He got called in last minute for work. So I went to go cheer him on. I cheered on a bunch of other runners. At the last hill, the last mile marker, so I got a mile in, cool down, and I caught up with him. And he was saying he just was taking it easy. He walked a little bit, but he's glad that he's not having pain in his legs or his back. So he just said, I could tell that I haven't been running as much, but I'm glad to be out here running. So I said, that's what it's all about. So good for you. Let's keep jogging it in. So we were jogging it in, talking a little bit. And he always jokes around. He says, get away from me. And he was talking to a couple people. They were all in the same group. And he kind of pointed me out that he keeps pushing me, trying to get me to go faster. And I was like, come on, Dad, you got to get going. So we just tried to make fun of it and have a good time and laugh. And I'm just there for support and help bring him in. And that's what my old cross country coach used to do. He said, you're not done with the race until everyone on your team's crossed the finish line. And so it's a family event. It's a family tradition that we're doing. So you got to go back and get everyone and bring them in. So we got in and we're waiting for the awards. We got, they had orange slices, bananas. They had a little pastry thing there. It said Grandma's Pastries. They had croissants and cocoa. Maybe a couple other things I wasn't really sure of. And I just asked her, which one do you like? And they said, this one. So all right, give me that one. I think it's something with the apple in it. And then they had spaghetti, but I didn't feel like spaghetti. I had a lot of pasta all week. Then my dad sat down. Well, I didn't sit down. My dad was sitting down on the steps, and I was standing up. I didn't want my legs to start cramping up, so I kept trying to drink water, had the fruit. And then an old friend came over, my buddy Dan. And I know him through mutual friends. And he's like, hey, man, I knew you always run this race, so I had to come look for you. I was like, oh, man, how's it going? And I didn't know that he had been running that well, so I was glad to see him run the half marathon and glad he finished and felt good. It was good to see him, talk to him a bit. So great to see you, Dan. That was a pleasant surprise to see you out there. And then walked around, saw the coach for Embry Riddle Nautical High School. We have like a mutual friend. He ran in college with my college coach. And we sat down a couple times at a couple races and we were chatting a bit. And so we always get together and talk a little bit after the race there. And he runs the half. But he was saying he cramped up at mile 3 and his calf was just giving him a hard time. So we got it second. But normally he places first. And he's got that college training team that's doing really well. So he's got a lot of good people to train with. And so it was nice to talk to him. There was another guy. He was Mark, and Mark was doing this race. He just got into running, I guess, or maybe he's been running, but he says he has like an aide and helper, and who wasn't previously a runner, but started running with him the last 6 months and ran it. I think they ran a 10K together, and he's visually impaired, so he couldn't see anything, and his running partner, his support, if you will, was there and just guides him and takes him on the course with him and just gives him a heads up. Hey, there's a hill, there's a step, that kind of a thing, or there's a water station if you want water. And so I got the chance to talk to him, and he was really nice, and he was just happy to be there. And I felt bad that he was alone right there. I think his his support, his partner, went to the restroom and go get food or something. And I hate seeing people alone, especially at an event like that. So I tried to say, "Hey, how'd your race go? What'd you do? How's your time? Did you enjoy the course?" Stuff like that. Just friendly questions that invite just to, "Hey, how's it going?" Preach talk for a little bit. So that was really cool that he got the race, and he said that was the other person's first race, and he was just proud of him. He said, "I was just so proud they picked up running the last 6 months, and we're out here today, and it was a great day to be out here." So that was a cool moment as well. Then we went for awards. They did the 5K first, and I think they started at the youngest. I started with the kids and kept going up in 5 to 10 years, and they got to the 60s, and someone came up and said something, and we overheard, well, if you cross the finish line and go back across the finish line and come back, it's going to screw up the reading. So I don't know if that was the full story, if the person had did that, or if weren't explaining it well. I don't know. But they had put the words on hold for a minute or two, tried to come back, and they said, "Oh, we're having some technical difficulty, bear with us." And we waited 5 or 10 minutes, and they came back and just said, "All right, folks, sorry about the hold up, but this is going to take 2 to 3 hours. We don't want to keep you here, so if you got an award or an age group, then we'll mail it out to you, or if you'd like to pick it up at the YMCA, you're more than welcome to stop by." So that was a little disheartening, but we took a picture in front of the banner, which was fine. And then my dad was headed out, and my mom and stepdad were there as well, and they were cheering me on. So that's always nice of them to come out. And then they said, "You want to go to breakfast?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want to go to breakfast." And they said, "You want to go to the waffle place? Or you want to go to Zeke's?" And I wanted to go to Zeke's because they give great portions, great quality food. I haven't been there in a while. So I said, "Give me like 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to go cool down a little bit. I still want to get in at least 2 miles cool down." So they headed out, and just take your time, and then give me a chance to cool down, get over there. So I went to change my shoes, got my racing shoes off, put on my trainers, went out, came back, and got in about 2.5, 2.6 miles. So did 1.6 to warm up, the 6 mile race, and then 2.6 more. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the 2 halves is 10. So I got in 10 miles for the day, which is good. And then I ate what I get, a full serving of hash browns, which is fantastic. A huge plate. And then I had some French toast, and then I had maybe a third of my mom's hash browns. And I came back and took the pup out for a walk, and my mom went with me. And we walked about 15, 20 minutes and came back. And I just gave the pup a snack, and then boom, I passed out. I was just done. I was tired. My legs were tired. My body was tired. Sleep deprived for the week, so I'm trying to catch up on sleep. So I slept from about noon till 2:30-ish. Woke up a couple times because the dog was barking at something or would get up. And then took the dog out for another walk. We had an early dinner. And then watched some King of Queens with my mom, had a few good laughs, and then started to doze off around 9. So I came in here, tried to lay down, and here we are. So that was a good day. Oh gosh. And I'm ready for bed. The work is done, so I can relax for a day and then gear up for the 5K next week. And we'll see how that goes. So run your life with health and happiness, and have a good night.